being outgoing is a cheat code. The reason I say being outgoing is a cheat code is because, say you have a normal type of day where you're just being antisocial, where you're not communicating with nobody, and you're just ignoring everybody, you're ignoring the world around you, you are not making eye contact with anybody, you're just in your own little bubble. Those are the type of days that serve you no memories, they give you no stories, they give you nothing. You just, those days go by and they go by and they just pass by and they're just another day in your life. Whereas days where you're more outgoing and you're more sociable and you're just more open to the world around you, those are the type of days where the just craziest things will happen, or just the most memorable moments of your life could happen, and you don't even know it because you just didn't have an interaction with nobody and you were being antisocial. These are stories, and this is something that this is something that I've learned from experience, and this is something that I've been through personally, where I usually was the type of person who was very antisocial, and I was very just, I never communicated with people a lot. I was very quiet and I was very to myself, very mind my own business type of person, you could say. And then over time, I realized that being that type of person that's just very antisocial and closed off to the world, and sort of, I would even go as far as saying back then I just had something against the general world, just because I just didn't, I don't know, I just didn't like the world. I didn't like people, especially I didn't like people. And over time, I just decided, you know what, this doesn't feel right. This doesn't feel like, I feel subhuman in a way, just going by and not interacting with anybody, just being antisocial, being to myself. And this is something that naturally I figured out about myself. I'm just naturally more of an introverted type of person, and I would rather just do a lot less talking. And you know, you could either be an introverted person or you're probably naturally extroverted. Extroverted people are just more outgoing, and something I'm realizing, and something that I saw in a video of this podcast, I forgot who it was. I think it was like Alex Hamosi or something. But they basically said that the top business people, to succeed in business, you gotta be an extrovert or something like that. Just something like, I don't know, something, the quote went something along those lines, but it was something like that. And that's true, and that's something that I'm really realizing. Being outgoing and just socializing with people is some sort of cheat code that you enjoy life more. Like, actually, you just have more of an enjoyable experience on the planet, and just get to understand, and you get to see other people's point of views, and you get to see other perspectives. Like the other day, right? This was before the election, and I'm not going to get into politics, but I'm just going to explain my side of the story and what I said and what happened. So this lady came into my job, and she was, you know how older people are. For some reason, older people just love talking to you about politics, like just the most randomest things. And this is not the first time I've had a older person want to talk to me about politics. This is like basically, I would say this could be a daily occurrence. If I really wanted to, if I interacted with enough old people, this could be a daily thing. I don't know if somebody in the comment section would like to explain to me why older people are just so open to speaking about politics. I don't know. I feel like that's just kind of taboo in my opinion. But back to the story. So this lady comes up, and I'm ringing her up for this thing that she wanted to get. And out of nowhere, right? This was before the election, pre-election. So before Trump had won and everything, before the votes had came out. She, look, and like I said, this is not, look, I'm not going to get political, okay? I am working with the facts. These are the facts, all right? But basically we just all of a sudden out of nowhere we get onto the topic of Donald Trump. We just start talking about Donald Trump, and you know, this lady's talking about some things, like she's saying things like, oh, Trump, he's gonna end the war in Ukraine in a day. Trump is gonna save the country, like all of this other stuff. Like, and look, another time I'm gonna say this, I'm not trying to get political. I'm not picking a side. But yeah, basically she's saying this, that, Donald Trump this, Donald Trump that, he's gonna be whatever. And I'm just sitting here like, okay, since you know so much and you love Donald Trump so much, I'm gonna hit you with a trick question. So we also got onto the topic about Diddy. Like, just look, this was not me. She brought it up. She was like, a lot of celebrities have been getting caught up lately doing these crazy things. And then she starts talking about Diddy. And then I bring up Jeffrey Epstein, right? I'm like, oh yeah, and that, you know, that Jeffrey Epstein stuff that went out. She's like, oh, terrible. All those people who went to the island, terrible. And I just, look, people, Donald Trump was on the Jeffrey Epstein list, right? Look, these are the facts, okay? These are just the facts. I'm not getting political. I hit her with this trick question just to see what she would say. And look, this ain't to go to show, like, I'm not saying, you know what I mean? Like, this is just, I just found it funny. I don't know why. I just hit her with a trick question. And it was funny just seeing, like, somebody, like, be so passionate about something and they don't even know what is, you know what I'm saying, what they're talking about entirely. And that's just one moment. Basically, my point of telling you that story, moral of the story, basically is just you interact with people, you get different points of views, and you get different ways of seeing things. You know what I mean? And that's always a cool thing. Don't be so closed off, and don't be, my way is right, nobody else is right. If it's not my way, I'm not believing it. Or if this credible source didn't say it, I'm not believing it, or whatever the case may be. Because what you see as a credible source, other people are not going to see as a credible source. For example, the news networks, I don't know which news networks are on which side. I don't know which side is right or which side is left when it comes to news networks, but it's, you know, they are credible to some people, Republican, or some other news I don't even know, news channel is siding with the Democrats. So it's really just very subjective, and it's always like you're sort of seeing a third person point of view when you're looking at other people's perspectives and how other people see the world. Like, or you could just get like a third person point of view of how people see you. You know what I mean? Interacting with different people, you just are in for a different situation almost every single time. My fault. I had my phone was low on battery, but it's a different interaction every single time. Like, you don't know who you could end up meeting. You could end up meeting your potential future boss, your potential future manager, somebody who's gonna put on for you in the future. You don't know who. I know there's a saying out there that says it's a small world. When you see somebody, you know. And I mean, it probably is when you get to a certain level, but there's a whole world out there with 8 billion people who have years and years of life experience and have experienced things that you have never experienced. And they got that story to tell. People are dying to tell stories about themselves. People are dying to just share what happened in their day. People are dying to tell you about their day. People just, you know what I mean? People are dying to share their wisdom to you and speak to you and just, you know what I mean? People, the main person people care about is themselves. So they're going to want you to talk about themselves, you know what I'm saying, with them, and just hear them out. And this is something that a lot of self-help books go over, but I've mainly picked up in How to Win Friends and Influence People. Is it's sort of this dynamic that you have when people not you're not doing most of the talking. You're the one that's talking less. I forgot. I think there was like a number 70 to 30. You do 30% of the talking. The other person does 70% of the talking. But yeah, a lot of us, man, if I'm being honest, sometimes we just need to shut up and just listen to what the other person has to say. Just listen to what the other person has to say. They might say something important, and you might remember something that, oh, wow, they're going to be like, I didn't expect you to remember that. Just little things like that, man. Like, that's game for y'all. That goes into any aspect of life. If you just got a good ear, if you're a good listener, you could have success with women. You could have success in businesses. You could have success for job interviews. Whatever the case may be, if you just take the time to listen to somebody and like actually understand their story, understand where they're coming from, you're gonna be looked at as a more approachable person in the future. And at the end of the day, man, like, that's just it. Like, there's points of views that you just don't know. People see the world completely different from you, and it's not so good to close yourself off and be so close-minded from those other points of views. I would go as far as saying I would interview a white supremacist just to get their side of their story and why they feel the way they feel. I don't think where Gideon, when he met the KKK member, I hope I'm allowed to say that on YouTube. YouTube, don't ban me or don't demonetize my video. I'm not even monetized, but just don't do nothing to me. I didn't know if that's a bad word, but yeah, like him, or when Pootie went to interviewed the most racist man in America. I don't think he's probably not the most racist man in America, but just getting other people's point of views, man. And then Pootie ended up becoming friends with the guy. It's just like, yo, you just don't know. Like, think of your life as straight up. Think of your life as like a GTA game or show. In GTA, right? I swear it sounds crazy bringing up GTA. This is so random, but in GTA, I'm gonna use GTA San Andreas, right? CJ, he meets most of the people in the end of the game that he needs to know. He meets most of these people by what? By first opening up to the whole world, because it's an open world game. You just go around the whole map and explore, something that you can do in your real life. And I'm gonna give you another little story afterwards, but yeah, GTA San Andreas, CJ, obviously he got to work his way up the criminal underground world, and he's got to meet all these different people. He's got to help other people, do them favors. In exchange, they give him money and or power. And yeah, as you progress through the game, CJ finally reaches boss level, and he's got all this money. He got all, you know what I mean? He's got this rapper. His hood is like the best hood in Los Santos. Like, you got all this stuff going on, and that's cool. Like, you just gotta understand that could be your life. Like, not GTA San Andreas. You just going crazy with people on the chainsaw. But what I mean is, in the aspect of, see every interaction that's sort of them little GTA missions. You know, on the map in the little marker, it shows like you got a mission for somebody like CJ, Sweet, or whatever. You go up to that, and then you just start. You get to the unskippable cutscene. That's how you should see it. People are unskippable cutscenes sometimes, and hey, man, some interactions are just gonna be a complete waste of your time. Like that interaction I had with that lady. That really, why was I doing that? That was the waste of my time. I didn't even have to talk to her about politics. I could have just went on with my day and just checked her out and said, yeah, you're right. And you know what I mean? But I decided just to get her point of view, and that's what I wanted to do. I wanted to get her perspective, how she saw the world. And Another example of this, of just like some random interaction that ends up like just making my day, I guess. Today, this lady came in my job, and she was this New York lady, like in her late 50s, early 60s maybe. She came in, and this interaction actually made my day. I ain't gonna lie to y'all, bro. Like, yo, she complimented me, and it hit the soul. But this lady, she's from New York. Strong New York accent. And basically, I'm just checking her out, talking blah 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 blah, talking about whatever. And then eventually we just get onto the topic. We just start talking about some random stuff. We just go from talking about New York, like, because I could tell from her strong accent. I forgot what I said. I was probably like, oh, you're from New York, huh? So yeah, I'm from New York. And you know how New Yorkers are. They yeah, yo, they love New York, man. They love New York. But yeah, she starts explaining it and just going on and on about New York. And then we just start talking about some random conspiracy theories. And then she starts telling me about, oh, like, yeah, I'm a construction worker. She was a female. I'm a construction worker, this, and that. And we worked, before she was a construction worker, they were like, worked on the ground zero for September 11th. And she was telling me about how she was digging up bodies and corpses and stuff like that. And then we had like a very political conversation, but I'm definitely not gonna get into it. I'm not gonna get into it into this video. I'm sorry, y'all, but some stuff just is better left unsaid to the public. But yeah, we get into some conspiracy theories, and then she's just talking to me about like, yeah, like I saw some very traumatic things in Ground Zero, and you know what I mean? And basically she was giving me like a life story, like a very good, like she summarized her life pretty good. I'm not gonna lie, like from when she became a construction worker, she summarized her life story very good. But yeah, my fault, y'all. This is my steering wheel. I just realized it was in the way of the video. I'm gonna have to move up. I'm gonna have to move around a little bit just so y'all can get a better angle. But where was I? Oh yeah, she's just telling me about all this stuff. Like, yeah, I saw some very traumatic stuff and this and that. And I was like, dang, man, like, that sounds scary or like traumatic or something. And she was basically just telling me like she was a construction worker and like all the struggles she went through as a female construction worker. At first she was like, yeah, I had to deal with so much racism and just all this stuff. Like, I had to deal with so much racism, and you should see how they treat the Hispanic construction workers. They treat them like type B employees, not type A, all this stuff. And then she started telling me about not just racism that she experienced as a female construction worker, but sexism. And I just said to her, she was like, I experienced a lot of racism. I was like, yeah, you must experience a lot of sexism too, being a female construction worker. She was like, yeah, yo, don't even get me started. Like, I've had people pull their meats out or something. I was like, what? Like, is that crazy? Like, what? Your life is that crazy? And she was like, yeah, like crazy stuff on the job, like all this other stuff. And then after the conversation, we finally finished the conversation, and I barely talked throughout this entire conversation with this lady. And after the conversation, man, these are the type of compliments that when you get them, bro, like you feel them in the soul. And like, I'm the type of person, I have that belief in myself, but to hear somebody else telling you this type of stuff, just like, it reassures you in a way, you know what I mean? It just gives you another level of excitement that I can't really explain. But she basically compliments me, and she's like, oh, like, first things first, she's like, oh, you would have thrived in New York City. Like, I could see you being a psychiatrist, or I could see you being a lawyer, like all this stuff. And I was like, oh, thank you very much. And then she started saying, when I look at you, I get happy for our people. I think she was black. for our people. She was like, I get happy for our people, and it makes me think that there's still hope for us. And she was talking about the Latino American and black community. That's what I'm saying, is we had like a little discussion that's like, it's very taboo, and it had a lot of sensitive subject matter that I just don't feel like talking about on YouTube. But she was like, yeah, like I see hope when I see you and stuff like that. And then like, man, I don't know, that compliment hit hard. And then after, she was like, yeah, like you would have thrived and you would have been amazing in New York. And I low-key told her, I was like, yeah, but like I don't know, there's like some social norms and stuff that I just would have to get used to, because it's true. And she was like, man, you know, New Yorkers, like we low-key rude or whatever, but when we are friends with you, we're friends with you. And I got that, like I get that, like that's just how people are. But after that, and after the conversation had basically ended and it was about time for her to leave because she checked out, and I was talking to this lady for a minute, y'all. Yo, I'll tell y'all, I was talking to her for like at least 30 minutes, and I was only talking for like 1, 2, or 3 of those minutes, just asking her straight questions, because I ain't gonna lie, her life story was low-key interesting. You could write a book about her life, but you could also write a book about your own life if you implement this. Do you know what I mean? You will have adventures, and you just have stories to tell, just stories to tell from other people's point of views, and you can have a better understanding of the world through other people. But it was just cool, man. And then after the whole conversation with the lady, she just ended up telling me like, yeah, when I talk to you, everything just feels like it's gonna be all right. Like, yo, I don't know, but like, yo, I don't know, is somebody telling you that? Like, you don't know me, but like, I know me, and this is how I feel. Now, I don't know like how to say it. I feel like this in this to a certain extent. I feel this way about myself, and it's just sort of reassuring. And I've had like other compliments and stuff from people by just listening, hearing them out, just hearing them out. Being told you're a good listener is a good compliment. That's not like the only things people would obviously tell me, but just hear people out, man. Sometimes you just gotta shut up and you stop thinking about what you're gonna say next. Like, think about what the person is saying to you. And I'm learning, like, right now from the laws of human nature, I'm learning this more advanced form of communicating with people. It's something deep, actually, very deep. And it's basically this way of understanding people's body language to like a master level, to where you can tell, like, to how detectives are able to tell when somebody's lying, like to that sort of level. And basically my way of practicing it is just observing people and not paying attention to what they're saying, but more pay attention to their facial expressions, or to the way the tone of their voice changes, or their body language, or if they're fidgeting, they could be lying, or if they're not looking me directly in the eye, they could be lying. Just this advanced form of communication. Just think, yeah, man, Laws of Human Nature, that's an amazing book. And same with Laws of Mastery. Those are the 2 books I'm reading right now. But just understand, the more you socialize with people and the more outgoing you are to people in this world, the more you can get more back by just hearing people out. And look, I'm gonna be honest, there's some downsides to this. Just talking to random people, you're bound to run into negative interactions, and you're bound to either run into somebody who you just don't like, or who's rude to you, or somebody who tells you something very depressing.
I lost my wife 10 weeks ago, 21 years faithful. My daughter committed suicide 3 weeks ago.
Oh shit.
13, she was faster than me at 12, and I run a 6-minute mile. My testimony, I'm nothing but pure, and I ask you if you want to be in the YouTube channel. And you like scrawny guys.
I had this one lady, I had this one older lady, like very elderly, like I'm talking about, she was 80. Tell me this, and I quote something like this. I'm not gonna quote her directly, word for word, but she was like, my husband died last week. like straight trauma dumping on me, dude. Like, and if that wasn't bad already, she then goes on, yeah, I don't have that much longer left to live either. I'm just cleaning my car, because this was back when I worked at a car wash. She was just like, yeah, I'm just cleaning my car, and you know, I'm gonna die in a month. I don't have that much longer left to live. I'm like, what are you doing, lady? That is some crazy trauma dumping that you are doing to me. Like, chill out. But yo, like, you just get a better like feel of the world and just understanding of the world, and you see different points of views. You see how other people see the world. I bet some of the most interesting conversations y'all will have in your lives is with somebody who completely has a different way of seeing the world than you and sees things completely different than you. Those are probably going to be the most interesting conversations of your life. And that's just it, man. Just it. Y'all enjoy the video, man. I don't know if I went too long of a tangent telling that story, but that lady low-key was the reason I made a video about this, talking about this today, because I was probably gonna talk about something else and make a video talking about something else. But that's basically been it for today's video, y'all. I hope y'all enjoyed, man. If y'all did, please go ahead and just engage with the video so I can get more interactions and I can pop up into more people's recommended page and I can get the message out to more people. Please go ahead and do that for me. If y'all like the video, please go ahead and subscribe. If y'all like the video, please like the video. I was checking on my YouTube analytics the other day, and it shows that 100% of y'all are not subscribed. So please go ahead and do that for me. Thank you all very much. Y'all have a good day, as always.